Hey everybody, this week on Detail, I'm going to show you how to wash a car properly. If you've been watching any of our other videos on Candid Detail, then you know I've been messing with my dad a lot, and it's been a lot of fun. But I do feel like a little guilty about it. So I felt, maybe to make it up to him, I should wash his vehicle. So today, that's what we're gonna do together. We're gonna be washing his Jeep using a very simple method of cleaning, as far as pressure washing, getting into some soap, maybe a foam cannon even in there. So let's get started. First thing is we want to pressure wash it off. We have a lot of salt buildup, dirt and grime in tight little areas. The pressure washing stage is let's remove any loose debris that's on the surface so that we're not reintroducing it when we start using sponges and soap. So I'm gonna grab the pressure washer and just start blasting this whole thing off. All right, so we've gotten all the loose dirt and debris off the vehicle that we can at this moment. One thing to keep in mind if you're using a pressure washer is make sure your nozzle is not too close to the paint. Now, my pressure washer being an electric pressure washer, it doesn't get that high of a PSI. But if your PSI is higher than 3,000, I would be very careful about how close you leave that nozzle to the paint. Now that we've got everything cleaned off, we're gonna get into a degreaser. Now the degreaser, what we're gonna do is spray it all over the vehicle, let it sit on there, and what we want that degreaser to do is to break down this fine film of dirt that's left on the vehicle. Once that's all broken down, we'll go ahead and rinse it off, and then we'll start getting some suds on there and start really cleaning it. What I'm trying to do is mitigate as much reintroduction of dirt and debris as possible. So we're gonna get all of it melted off with degreaser and then wash it with some soap. Now we're gonna start putting on some OP Clean as a degreaser to break down this light film of dirt that's still there. This way we don't have to work too hard when we get into soap and everything. Now the big thing when you're handling any type of chemical, soap, anything outside of water is wear gloves. Make sure you're protecting yourself. Now when we're spraying a product onto a surface like a door panel, we wanna make sure we start from the bottom and spray up, just like this. This way, the degreaser is just as concentrated from up here as it is down here, and it's not running down and being diluted by the water that's on the surface. So I may continue just going around spraying the whole surface. It's safe on the glass, plastic, all of that. It's not super corrosive. It's just enough to get this light film of dirt off. One thing I like to do to make the most out of my time is while the OP Clean is sitting there dwelling, breaking down the dirt and debris on that surface, I like to take a brush and start scrubbing all the things that I'm not worried about scratching. These can be things like the tire itself, it could be plastic molding like this, or even metal bumpers like this one. So since I've got the OP Clean on there already, I might as well agitate it a little bit with a brush. This way it looks a lot cleaner in my later step in my wash. I've gone ahead and I've scrubbed everything down while the OP Clean was dwelling, and now it's time to rinse it off. So we're gonna see how much dirt we can get off before we go ahead and start using a sponge and soap and everything like that. So let's get to rinsing. All right, everybody, the moment you've all been waiting for. It's finally time to wash this vehicle. Now, I've got two buckets here. This bucket here is gonna be my rinse bucket. At the bottom of it, I have a grit guard to keep all the dirt and sediment at the bottom. In this bucket, I've got my sponge, and we're gonna put just a couple caps of the Eco Wash concentrated into the bucket. Just like that. And then just give it a nice little swashing around, get that all mixed up into the bucket. Get it worked into the sponge. All right, so now we're ready to go. What we're gonna do is work from the upper panel and work down. This way we're not reintroducing any dirt from down here up to here. The other thing we wanna do is make sure we go into straight lines like this. When we move in straight lines, if we were to cause some type of scratch or any other type of marring on the paint, it would just be a nice straight scratch, which is a lot less noticeable than a swirl. So if we were going in circular motions like that, those scratches or marring would be a lot more noticeable than these type of scratches and marring. Then, once you've gotten a small section like this completed, you want to take your sponge, rinse it out into the rinse bucket. I like to take my fingers, work it through them a little bit, get anything that's trapped in there out, rinse it out, and bring it back over to my Eco Wash bucket that's a lot cleaner. And then we just continue this around the whole vehicle, working from the top and going down, rinse and repeat. One thing you can do too, especially if you're using one of our big blue sponges here, is if you're not ready to go ahead and rinse out into a bucket or anything, you can always flip that side. Now you've got a new clean side right here that hasn't been exposed to any dirt or debris. We got the vehicle all cleaned up, and to show you why you want to do this 2-bucket method, I'm going to go ahead and get a little bit of this water out from the rinse bucket. And you can see how murky that water is. This is all contamination that was on the vehicle that we kept out of our Eco Wash bucket. So that way we didn't reintroduce this dirt and debris as we were cleaning the vehicle. That's how you wash a vehicle, plain and simple. And if you want to see how to dry off a vehicle properly, check us out next week. We're going to be coming out with a new video about proper techniques when it comes to drying off a vehicle. And make sure you don't miss that. Make sure you hit that notification bell and subscribe. And if you liked what you saw, give us a like. We really appreciate it. It helps the channel out. I gotta keep going on this. I'll catch you next week.